12 years after her best friend died in a car accident, Sophia found herself crying in a supermarket when she passed a favorite brand of chips they used to share. She was shocked by the intensity of her emotion. She thought she had moved on, but the grief was there, waiting beneath the surface. Welcome to this mini-series on understanding the language of grief, loss, and trauma. My name is Nathalie Himmelrich. I'm a somatic practitioner, psychological therapist, educator, and author, specializing in grief and trauma, and the host of the How to Deal with Grief and Trauma podcast. Grief and trauma are deeply human experiences, yet many of us struggle to describe what we are going through, or to understand what others are facing. The vocabulary of loss is vast, varied, and sometimes overwhelming. In this short podcast episode series, we'll explore the different types of grief, loss, and trauma that people encounter throughout life. Each mini-episode serves both as an educational tool and a compassionate companion for anyone trying to make sense of their own experience with grief, loss, and trauma, or someone who is supporting someone else who is. These terms are more than labels. They are doorways into greater understanding, healing, and connection. Whether you are a bereaved parent, a caregiver, a therapist, or someone walking alongside a grieving friend or someone who has experienced trauma, these bite-sized episodes aim to give you language, insight, and tools. Each one includes a definition, some key considerations, an explanation of why it matters, relevant podcast episodes, and frequently asked questions that I have been asked by my clients and you, the listener of the podcast. And my answers are all grounded in both professional and lived experience. So let's begin. Residual grief refers to grief that resurfaces unexpectedly, often triggered by anniversaries, sensory memories, or life events. Even if the person has done significant healing work, grief can re-emerge in moments that connect them deeply to the loss. Residual grief doesn't mean you're not healing. It means the bond and memories still live within you. These grief waves often show up suddenly and can feel confusing if they happen years after the initial loss. It's a sign of enduring love, not emotional failure. Triggers like smell, music, places, or even major milestones can bring back emotions thought to be resolved. Recognizing residual grief normalizes the experience of grief revisits long after the loss. It gives people permission to feel without shame and to see these moments as part of an ongoing journey of love and memory. When understood and met with compassion, these episodes can even deepen healing. As part of the How to Deal with Grief and Trauma podcast, we're talking a lot about residual grief. Personally, I think it's a very normal way that grief occurs. So examples might be the story of a woman overcoming with grief at her child's wedding, thinking of her late parent who can't be present. Or someone who relives grief every year on the anniversary of a sibling's passing. Another example is the man who reconnects with grief decades later after retirement opens emotional space. Therapists also share the recurring grief among bereaved clients, which is very normal during life transitions. So one question that I received from a listener is residual grief a sign that I'm still stuck? No, it's completely normal and can be a healthy sign of an enduring connection. And the following on question is, so why does it catch me off guard? And that is because triggers often bypass the logic and strike directly at emotion. So they can surface at surprising times, at inappropriate moments, just like a wave crashing you from behind when you're looking out into the sea. So what should I do when residual grief shows up? Just make space for it, allow it, and give yourself the grace to feel, remember, and reflect. A way to do that would be by journaling or by sharing or by talking to someone or creating a ritual that feels right for you. Another question is, can I prepare for it? So by noticing patterns such as anniversaries or seasonal triggers, that can help you prepare and plan for support. Personally, for example, I make space around the birth and the death, which is very close in the case of my daughters. In the week before and after, I just make space for it because I don't know what's going to happen, but it's usually an intense time. Does everyone experience residual grief? So I would say many do, especially after significant or early losses. And as usual, some people may notice it more than others. Can I prevent it? No, you can't prevent it, but you can meet it with tools and support to make it less disruptive. Should I tell others when this happens? If you feel safe, yes, do it, because it's important for other people to understand that this is quite normal. And also naming it helps and normalizes the experience and invites connection. A question that I often hear from clients is there something wrong with me if I still cry years later? The answer is not at all. Tears are a sign of continued love and connection and not a lack of progress. In the next episode, I'll draw a comparison between normal grief versus pathological grief. I hope this episode has helped you feel more grounded in the language of loss, grief, or trauma, and maybe even offered you some clarity, validation, or insight into your own experience or the experience of someone you care about. Grief and trauma are deeply personal, yet universal. When we can name what we're feeling, we take one powerful step closer to healing and the integration of our experience back into our lives. If this series resonates with you, I invite you to keep exploring. You'll find more resources, courses, and ways to work with me at nathaliehimmelrich.com. And of course, you're always welcome to revisit any of the episodes whenever you need a gentle reminder that you're not alone. Until next time, take good care of your heart.